Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Outlook for Friday, July 18th. Looking at our impact map, lots of shower activity coming up today. Not quite the pure monsoon, but a little bit of piece of it breaking off. A mix of wet and somewhat drier storms, but not as dry as previous days. You can see the green and yellow circles through here, but you'll see those showers and thunderstorms diminishing in time as we go into the weekend and basically gone by Sunday as drier air pushes in. At the same time, we'll start seeing increasing afternoon wind gusts up in the central Idaho mountains, 20 to 30 miles an hour for the most part. Humidity will be drying out. Late in the period, we will start to see increasing winds coming in off the Sierra front on Sunday. It looks like they will be considerably stronger on Monday, combined with low humidity. That'll be our next potential high-risk event. Satellite imagery shows that band of moisture coming up from the south. Part of it is from the monsoon, part of it is just from instability, but it is bringing cooler temperatures, much needed, along with some higher humidity in those areas. Looking at our 24-hour lightning, quite a bit of it in the south, but if you look on the left, it did come with decent precipitation. A lot of stations did report about a quarter inch, localized amounts about a half inch. The further north and west you go, the lightning was not as wet, but still had some higher humidity with it. But enough lightning in the last 24 hours that initial attack will get busy this afternoon. You can see the new fire starts in the red, recent fires in the yellow, so moderate to locally heavy initial attack. We had 20 fires, new fires for 120 acres, large fire growth over 4,000 acres. Our smoke activity will start to diminish a little bit with the higher humidity in some of our southern fires. You'll see that as we go from today and especially tomorrow. The smoke really thins out. The most impact of the smoke will be from the fires up in Northern California. 7-day precipitation totals you can see here, not including yesterday, were not that heavy, but it did get heavier in the last 24 hours. Also, this shade of green through here in southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip, those are flood watches that are in effect for some of those heavier downpours. Our ERC point map shows that in the far south, our ERCs are moistening up by those green circles. We still have our belt of most critical fuels across central areas, and also notice how much Idaho and Wyoming has dried out in the recent days. You can see that on the 10-hour fuels. You can see how much the southern areas are moistening up. So that is good news there, because should take the edge off of fire activity and current fires as well. But you can see where we are quite dry up in Nevada, especially the further north you go into southern Idaho. Still in the drought, both coming up from the south where we have areas of severe to locally extreme drought, also in the northern Rockies, and both areas are pushing north and southwards and will likely envelop most of the Great Basin as we go through the summer. This is another drought product called basically the eddy, or the affectionately known as the flash drought, and this is a 1-month time period. Shows our extreme dryness in our southern areas. Doesn't reflect the rainfall that we've had in just the last couple of days. Looking at some of our zones, you can see down here in southern Utah, the Dixie, where levels are here now by this blue circle, but you see how far they drop downwards over the next 7 days, probably the next 5 days before they start bouncing back a little bit, and how critically high they stay up in portions of northwest Nevada. So the upper level map for today, weak low pressure area over southern California. Bits and pieces of monsoonal moisture breaking off, not the full-blown monsoon, but you can see these areas in the black and the green here. Anywhere in those areas we could see isolated scattered showers and thunderstorms. Moistening up here in the south, you can see our most critical areas will be in northern and western areas. Relative humidity, minimum afternoon humidity, approaching 30% in some of our southern areas in Utah, near 20% in Vegas, but we start seeing single digits further north in northern Nevada, and teens, which is dry for Idaho. Winds moderate. We don't see that orange color of 30-mile-an-hour gusts, but a lot of 12 to 22-mile-an-hour winds. And these purple areas you see through here are brief outflow boundaries from nearby thunderstorms. So any current fire in those areas could see a brief gust of wind in the vicinity of these outflow boundaries. Precipitation over the next 24 hours, and it shows fairly widespread coverage. Some locally heavier amounts here, approaching a quarter to a half inch in the southern Utah mountains, but lesser amounts as you head further north. For tomorrow, still see that belt of moisture in our southern areas extending northeastwards into the Uinta Wasatch, but drier air starts to push back in. We see that on the 7-day. We do notice those increasing winds up in Idaho. So a lot of wind gusts approaching 30 miles an hour. Humidity still marginal, upper teens to low 20% range. Still, that northern Nevada area is going to be in the single digits. Precipitation in the afternoon, still some isolated thunderstorms, but much less coverage for tomorrow. And then even drier air pushes in on Sunday. Have a broad trough of low pressure starting to form. Upper low dropping down out of southern Canada. Our PSAs start drying out. We'll have wind issues picking up here again in parts of Idaho and western Wyoming. Humidity close to 20%. Kind of on the fence with high risk, probably not, but we'll have to watch some of the recent lightning strikes. Single-digit humidity continues in northern and western Nevada, and you see some of the winds in these orange areas approaching 25 to 30 miles an hour and a little bit off the Sierra as well. Precipitation in the afternoon, not much. We could see some thunderstorms in the high Uintas. Otherwise, very hit and miss as drier air starts to push in. This is a 7-day outlook. You can see that monsoonal push still stuck just south of Arizona and actually feeding a little bit into New Mexico. But what we have over us is just a little piece of that breaking off. As we go into Monday, drier air pushes in. The monsoonal train goes more into New Mexico along the Continental Divide. Dry air mass in place, and stronger upper level winds as this trough deepens. We have issued high risk for wind gusts of over 30 miles an hour, humidity dropping below 15%. It's been like that for a while across parts of the Sierra front, and we may have to extend that and push it further south on Tuesday. We'll see if this model output actually verifies, but if this low does sit here, we'll have a couple of breezy, dry days going into much of next week, and by Thursday, you can see dry air covers much of the region at this point. Total precipitation over the entire 7-day period. Again, the deep monsoon stays to the south. We kind of get its table scraps, and the 8 to 14-day outlook shows no relief. Above normal temperatures across the entire region, below normal precipitation. Even down in the Four Corners, the monsoon train will be shut off. This is going into the end of July, so no relief in sight for us. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.